You've seen them before. Glossy leaves, cheerful blooms, maybe even labeled as fast-growing or low maintenance. But behind that innocent nursery tag lies trouble. Some of the prettiest plants you can buy are actually garden invaders, bullies that creep, crawl, and climb their way through your yard, strangling your favorite flowers and stealing nutrients from your soil. Today I'm exposing 11 of the most invasive plants that you should never ever bring home, no matter how tempting they look on that nursery shelf. And don't worry, I'll also share beautiful, safe alternatives that give you the same look without turning your garden into a full-time battle zone. So before you dig that next hole or swipe your card at the garden center, stick around. You might be surprised which common plants made this list. Welcome back to Senior Green Thumbs, where we keep gardening simple, smart, and full of heart. If you've ever planted something that looked perfect in spring, only to find it climbing your fence, swallowing your roses, and marching toward the neighbor's yard by fall, this episode is for you. I've learned through a few hard lessons that not every plant sold in nurseries is a friend to your garden. In fact, some of them are on official watch lists for being destructive to local ecosystems. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up beauty to be a responsible gardener. There are stunning, well-behaved plants that will fill your beds with color and texture without taking over the whole yard. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's walk through the 11 most notorious offenders and what to plant instead. Plant 1. Purple loosestrife Lythrum salicaria. Now this next one is a heartbreaker because purple loosestrife looks absolutely stunning in bloom. Those tall spikes of vibrant magenta flowers can turn a summer garden into a painter's dream. I get it. I really do. It's easy to see it in a nursery and think, oh, that would look lovely by my pond. But here's the problem. Purple loosestrife doesn't know when to stop. Once it's in the ground, especially near water, it spreads like wildfire. Each plant can produce over 1 million seeds a year, and those seeds travel far and wide, hitching rides on wind, boots, and even birds. Before long, it crowds out native wildflowers and chokes wetland habitats that local wildlife depend on. In fact, in many states, it's considered an invasive weed and even banned from sale, but you still find it in some garden centers under different names. A better choice. If you want that same showy color and height, go for blazing star, Leatrice spicata, or purple coneflower, Echinacea purpurea. Both bring bold purple blooms that butterflies adore, and they stay right where you plant them. You'll still get that burst of color and life, just without the guilt or the cleanup. Plant 2, Japanese barberry, Berberis thunbergi. Coming in at number 5 is one that often fools even experienced gardeners. Japanese barberry, it's neat, compact, and comes in those lovely shades of red, orange, and purple that make it look like the perfect low-maintenance shrub. I remember when it was all the rage for front yard borders and foundation plantings. But here's the hidden problem. Japanese barberry has a dark side. Its dense branches create the perfect humid shelter for ticks. Yes, the kind that carry Lyme disease. And when the berries drop, birds eat them and spread the seeds far beyond your yard. Before long, it's popping up in forests and fields, outcompeting native plants and changing the natural soil chemistry. In some areas, it's now considered invasive and banned from sale, yet you'll still find it at certain nurseries under fancy cultivar names. A better choice. If you love that rich color and tidy shape, try ninebark, Physocarpus opulifolius, or smokebush, Cotinus cogigrea, instead. Ninebark offers deep burgundy foliage and clusters of white blooms, while smokebush adds that soft, smoky texture that looks magical in sunlight. Both are beautiful, non-invasive, and far friendlier to your local ecosystem. Plant 3, periwinkle, Vinca major. Now, this next one is sneaky because it looks so gentle and lovely. Periwinkle, also known as Vinca major, is that sweet ground cover with glossy green leaves and delicate purple-blue flowers. It's often sold as the perfect solution for shady spots or slopes where nothing else seems to grow. But here's what nurseries don't tell you. Once periwinkle gets comfortable, it doesn't stop. It spreads through trailing stems that root wherever they touch the soil, creating a dense mat that smothers everything underneath. Native plants don't stand a chance. And even sturdy shrubs struggle to break through that thick carpet of vines. It looks tidy for the first year or two, then suddenly you realize it's taken over your whole shade bed, and maybe the neighbors too. A better choice, if you want that lush, green coverage for shady spots, go for wild ginger, Oserum canadense, or foam flower, Tiarella cordifolia. Both give you that soft, ground-hugging texture, stay where you plant them, and actually help local pollinators. You'll still get a charming woodland look, just without the creeping chaos. Plant 4. Morning Glory, certain varieties. Morning Glory. It's one of those plants that wins you over in a heartbeat. Those soft, trumpet-shaped blooms opening in the morning sun, they look like something out of a storybook. I'll admit, I fell for them once too. But here's the twist. Some varieties of morning glory, especially the wild or older heirloom types, can become downright invasive. Their vines grow fast, twirling, climbing, entangling through fences, shrubs, and anything nearby. They reseed aggressively, and before you know it, you've got seedlings popping up everywhere. And while they're lovely for a few months, those dense tangles can smother young plants and make maintenance a real headache. A better choice, if you love that delicate climbing bloom, try black-eyed Susan vine, Thunbergia alata, or clematis. Both give you that same graceful climb and bright flowers. But they're polite guests, not garden invaders. They'll add charm and color without leaving you with a jungle to untangle at the end of summer. Plant 5, mint, without container control. Now let's talk about mint. Yes, that sweet, fragrant herb we all love in teas, lemonades, and summer salads. It's one of those plants that seems innocent enough until it isn't. You plant one tiny sprig near your walkway, and a few weeks later, it's everywhere, sneaking between stepping stones, climbing into flower beds, and popping up where you never planted it. Mint spreads through underground runners, and trust me, once those roots settle in, they behave like little green rebels. Don't get me wrong, mint is wonderful to grow, but if you put it directly in the ground without a barrier or container, you'll soon find it's claimed the whole corner of your garden. A better choice, if you love fresh mint, grow it in containers or raised beds. You'll still get all that refreshing aroma and flavor without losing control of your garden. Or if you want a fragrant ground cover that stays polite, try thyme or oregano. Both spread slowly, attract pollinators, and fill the air with that same Mediterranean freshness without the takeover. So yes, grow mint, but keep it on a leash. Plant 6, crown vetch, Securigera varia. Now here's one that might look harmless at first glance. Crown vetch. It's that low green plant with clusters of pretty pink and white flowers that wave gently in the breeze. For years, it was promoted as a great solution for erosion control along roadsides and slopes. The problem? It doesn't know when to stop. Crown vetch spreads aggressively through underground rhizomes and seeds, forming thick mats that smother everything in their path. Once it takes hold, it's almost impossible to remove, and it doesn't care whether it's on a slope, in your garden, or halfway into your neighbor's yard. It crowds out native wildflowers, disrupts pollinator habitats, and leaves behind soil that's difficult for other plants to reclaim. It's the kind of plant that means well, but causes a lot of heartache down the road. A better choice, if you need a tough, low-maintenance ground cover for erosion control, go for creeping phlox, Phlox subulata, or wild strawberry, Fragaria virginiana. Both stay low, spread gently, and provide beautiful blooms. Plus, they're friendly to pollinators. You'll keep your slopes colorful and stable without turning them into a full-time battle zone. Plant 7, wisteria, Chinese variety. Few plants can take your breath away like wisteria. Those cascading purple blooms look like something from an old English garden. Romantic, fragrant, and full of charm. I remember the first time I saw one in full bloom. It looked like spring itself had decided to put on a show. But here's the thing, not all wisterias are created equal. The Chinese and Japanese varieties are beautiful, but they're also ruthless. They grow fast, twisting around fences, trees, and even house gutters. Those thick, woody vines can pull down trellises, crack siding, and strangle trees. And once it's established, getting rid of it is like trying to stop time. You cut it back, it regrows. You dig it up, it resurfaces. It's relentless. A better choice. If you love that romantic, draping look, plant American wisteria, Wisteria frutescens, or Kentucky wisteria, Wisteria macrostatia instead. They're native, more controlled, and just as breathtaking, without the destructive force of their cousins. You'll still get those dreamy hanging blooms, but your trellis will stay standing, and your trees will thank you. Plant 8, English ivy, heterohelix. Let's start with one of the biggest offenders hiding in plain sight, English ivy. At first glance, it's charming. Those deep green, glossy leaves look timeless as they trail over stone walls or climb old fences. And I'll admit, when you see it in nurseries, it's hard to resist. But here's the truth. English ivy is like that guest who overstays their welcome and then takes over the whole house. Once it's in the ground, it spreads fast, creeping under mulch, scaling up tree trunks, and smothering everything in its path. It doesn't just block sunlight from other plants, it can actually weaken and kill mature trees by strangling their bark. Many gardeners find out too late that pulling it up is nearly impossible. Each tiny root that breaks off grows back twice as strong, and before long, you've got a full-scale invasion on your hands. A better choice. If you love that lush, trailing look, try climbing hydrangea or creeping jenny instead. Both give you beautiful greenery without suffocating your landscape. Climbing hydrangea offers soft white blooms and behaves politely, while creeping jenny spills gently over edges with golden leaves that brighten shady spots. It's all the beauty of ivy, without the garden drama. Plant 9, running bamboo, Philostachys species. Ah, bamboo, the plant that promises a touch of the tropics and a little backyard privacy. It looks elegant, grows tall, and those rustling leaves in the breeze. Absolutely beautiful. But here's the catch. If you plant the running kind of bamboo, you're not just planting, you're unleashing. These roots, called rhizomes, spread underground like wildfire. One moment you've got a neat little screen, and the next, your neighbor's complaining because bamboo shoots are popping up in their vegetable bed. It grows fast, too fast, sending up shoots several feet away from where you planted it. And once it's established, digging it out feels like fighting a losing battle. I've seen folks try everything from trenching to tarping, and still those green spears find a way back. A better choice. If it's that graceful look and rustling sound you love, go for clumping bamboo varieties like Fargetia rufa or Bambusa multiplex. These stay compact and well-behaved, spreading slowly without taking over your yard. Or, if you just want the tall, leafy privacy, try switchgrass or feather reed grass. They sway beautifully in the wind and stay right where you plant them. With the right pick, you can have the elegance of bamboo without the backyard takeover. Plant 10, Kudzu pueraria montanavar lobata. Now this next one might sound dramatic, but it's earned its nickname as the vine that ate the South. Meet kudzu, a plant that started as an imported wonder and ended up a national headache. Back in the 1930s, farmers were encouraged to plant it for erosion control. It grew fast, stayed green, and seemed harmless enough at first. But kudzu doesn't just cover ground. It devours it. It climbs trees, telephone poles, barns, anything in its way. It can grow up to a foot a day in summer, swallowing entire landscapes under a thick, leafy blanket. Once it takes hold, it's nearly impossible to remove. It just keeps coming back stronger. You'll still see it for sale sometimes as a fast-growing vine. But trust me, unless you want your garden to look like a scene from a jungle movie, leave kudzu on the shelf. A better choice, if you want a fast-growing vine for coverage or privacy, go with native honeysuckle, Lonicera sempervirens, or trumpet vine, Campsis radicans. Both give you that quick vertical growth and beautiful blooms that hummingbirds adore without the suffocating takeover. They'll fill your trellises with life, not regret. Plant 11, Pampas grass, Cortadera celoana. And finally, we're wrapping up our list with Pampas grass, the drama queen of ornamental grasses. Those tall, feathery plumes swaying in the wind look like something out of a dream garden. I understand the appeal. It's big, it's bold, and it makes a statement. But here's the trouble. Pampas grass isn't as graceful as it looks. In warmer regions, it spreads aggressively by seed, with each plant producing thousands that travel far and wide on the wind. Before long, you'll find it sprouting in ditches, open fields, and even cracks in the sidewalk. And don't be fooled by those pretty plumes. The leaves are razor sharp. I've seen more than a few gardeners walk away from trimming it with hands that look like they'd wrestled a cat. A better choice. If you love that tall, elegant look, plant feather-reed grass, Calamagrostis acutiflora, or switchgrass, Panicum virgatum, instead. They offer the same beautiful height and motion without the spreading chaos or painful pruning. You'll still get that soft, graceful movement in the breeze, just without the battle scars. So there you have it, 11 plants that may look lovely in the nursery, but can cause real trouble once they take root in your garden. Remember, invasive plants don't just crowd out your flowers, they disrupt local wildlife, change the soil, and can take years to control. But here's the good news. You don't have to sacrifice beauty for balance. There's always a safer, smarter alternative that gives you color, structure, and joy without the heartache. Gardening is about harmony between us, our plants, and the world we share. Every time you choose a non-invasive species, you're helping create a healthier, more sustainable landscape that future generations will thank you for. If today's video helped you spot a garden troublemaker or gave you a few better plant ideas, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these plants surprised you the most? Have you battled any of them in your yard? Share your story in the comments. We've all had our "what was I thinking" moments in the garden, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Senior Green Thumbs for more down-to-earth gardening wisdom, made especially for those of us who've learned that smart planting beats hard work every time. Until next time, keep your thumbs green, your garden serene, and remember, sometimes the best thing you can plant is knowledge.